Good morning, and welcome back to my little corner of the interweb, Knitting Nana Goes Rogue. Thanks for coming back. I honestly never thought anybody would. Didn't think anybody would even watch. But lo and behold, there are some people out there, other than just my family and friends, who've actually tuned in. And for that, I thank you so much, because this is just something in me that has nothing to do with wanting to be famous, make money, any of those kind of things. What this is just me giving back to the knitting community, to the community of people who've been locked down for so long, being lonely in their homes, without the ability to get together like we used to in the olden days. And so I just, I thank you. I thank you for your comments, for your kind comments, and for liking and subscribing, which I found out was so important if I want to reach more people. And it's not that I want to reach more people, it's that I just want to give people the opportunity to have another place to go and feel comfortable and to sit and to knit and to just get together. You know, I never realized how important it was to socialize with people. I tend to be a loner, always have been. So when the pandemic first happened, I was like, oh, this is great. I don't have to like see anybody, talk to anybody. Kind of fit my personality. But the longer I was isolated, the more I realized that that really wasn't as true as I thought it was. So, okay. So first things first, as you can see, I'm in a new spot because the last one was my first go around, had no clue how to do it. So I was against a stark white wall, hidden in my bedroom because I have a dog, a little dog, Princess, who is 14 years old, and she's aging just as I am. And so she likes to bark anytime she hears anything, and I mean like a leaf falling from the trees, and she'll start barking like crazy. So I locked myself away so when she did her crazy barking, it wouldn't disturb. But today, she seems to be kind of quiet. And she's been, tell you a little bit about her. Princess, she's a little Bichon. She's 14 years old, 14 and a half. And she got sick back in, a few months ago, and had to be hospitalized and in ICU. Oh, sorry. Had to turn off the video for a second because we have a heating system that every time it goes on, it sounds like a creaking door and that there are ghosts living here with me. But it's it's quite noisy, and it had just come on. I'd forgotten to turn the heat off. So good thing I've got a sweater on because it's going to get cold in here because it's about 25, 26 degrees outside, and it's a little chilly. Anyway, back to Princess. So she got sick and, you know, had to go to the hospital. She had an infection, and they put her on antibiotics and steroids, and she's been on steroids now for about a month, a little over a month. She's still got a couple of weeks to go. She's weaning off of them, and let me tell you, I don't know if anybody of you have ever been on steroids, but it makes you crazy. Well, let me tell you, in a little dog, makes her even crazier. She does crazy things like she's licking the outside of the trash can. The outside. Just the outside. She's licking everything. She's licking pillows. She's licking my husband's bald head when he's laying in bed, sleeping. Her appetite has increased like crazy, and she's just nuts, and that's okay. But now when she barks at absolutely nothing. There isn't even any leaves falling, but she's still barking like crazy. But anyway, today she's really quiet, sleeping on the couch, and if I can figure out how to put a picture in of her, I will do that. If not, just know that she's resting quietly and behaving herself right now. Okay, back to like why, or not why, but here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm wearing this beautiful sweater. It's called Blue Christmas. And this pattern was, it's designed by Tara Kennan of A Loop Through a Loop, which is one of the first podcasts that I started watching during the pandemic. And she's just this lovely, sweet woman with kids. You know, she just had a baby over the summer, and she's just precious. And so I watched her, and she was talking about this, and she was wearing this sweater, and I loved the sweater. And I was like, oh, I really like that sweater. And then all of a sudden she said that she had designed the pattern and she was looking for test knitters. And I was like, oh, that's definitely not something I could do. I could never test knit. You know, I mean, I knit, I've been knitting forever, but for me to be able to knit something for somebody else that needed to be precise and all this sort of stuff, I was like, I didn't really know anything about test knitting. So I was like, no, I can't. But I sent her a little message and she says, oh, do it. You know, she was so encouraging and so sweet. And I was like, because there were short rows in it and I'd never done short rows. So I'm like, oh no, I can't. She goes, don't worry, there's a tutorial. I'll walk you through it. Don't worry. And so I was like, okay. So that was my first test knit. And let me tell you, the process was so easy because she handheld me through the whole thing. Now, it's a paid-for pattern, and I highly urge you to get it because it's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. It's simple yet classic. It's got the most amazing detail on the side. It has a split hem. It's got short rows in the back. A little rolled collar, and you can knit it in either fingering weight or worsted weight. Now, I had told you last time that, you know, I like to knit on bigger needles, bigger yarn, or I had prior to all of this. And so I chose to do the worsted weight. I knit this in Loops and Threads Impeccable, which is Michael's own brand of yarn. And the reason I have so much of it in my stash, it's crazy. And the reason why is when the pandemic happened, yarn was difficult to get, as I'm sure most of you know. I had not discovered indie dyers or, you know, hand-dyed yarns yet. So I was used to, you know, knitting in this particular yarn for like my grandkids and everything, because you can throw it in the washer and dryer and it, you know, it doesn't pill, and, you know, it's inexpensive. And so when I was looking for yarn in the beginning of the pandemic, you could get from Michael's online in bundles, you know, like 12 balls at a time. And I was in a panic that I was going to run out of yarn during the shutdown. What would I do if I ran out of yarn? So I ordered quite a bit, to put it mildly, okay? I have so many buckets of it and stashed everywhere. But anyway, so I was like, that would, you know, I got plenty of it. So I chose a taupe and a plum color because it is a striped sweater. And I am a tight knitter, so I always have to go up needle sizes. So instead of the size 9, I knitted on a size 11, US 11, which makes it very light and airy and drapey, but still warm enough. The other thing is, you know, I'm 73. I'm always hot, cold, but mostly hot. So I'm constantly taking my sweaters off and putting them on and taking them off. This one is nice because it's light and airy, yet warm, so I don't have to take it off quite as much. Anyway, so this process of learning how to do this was a big learning curve, but it was wonderful. And I did the short rows, you know, I did them, as I recall, they were wrap and turns. And Tara handheld me. We made it through. I finished it in a couple of days, got it all sewn together. It's got a 3-needle bind off, and it's lovely, as is she. And so, like I said, I highly recommend it. I'd love to make one in the fingering weight, but I know it would take so much longer. So I'll put that on my list down the road after I do all my other million knits, but I would like to knit it again in a really nice wool fingering weight, but we'll see. I'm not making any promises. Okay, the picture that I took that of me standing in front of the Christmas tree, I just want to let you know that my Christmas tree is still up, okay? I don't call it a Christmas tree, I call it a holiday tree because it stays up. It was a New Year's tree. It was our 54th wedding anniversary tree. It's going to be my Valentine's tree, probably my Easter tree, and then maybe I'll take it down. The reason why is our home does not have a lot of outside windows and a lot of outside light, so in the wintertime it gets kind of dreary. So having that tree there lit up and everything is just, I don't know, it brings me some joy. So therefore, and I'm not making any excuses. I had a friend once who kept his tree up all year round. He had a 4th of July tree, you know, he had all sorts of trees for every single holiday. And I thought that was great. But anyway, I digress. Okay, let me check my notes here to see. Oh, okay. So the other thing I did want to talk about was one of the other podcasts that I found really early on was Stop, Drop, and Knit with Me with Lisa. And I identified with her right away for 2 reasons. Number one, she lives in Long Island, and that's where I was born and bred, Long Island, New York. So there was just kind of a connection. But the other thing is, she's a flutist and a professional flutist, and she's wonderful. And she, in her episode was 2 years ago, if you want to search and find it, and it is called, it's the episode where she talks about the Sonata Undine, which is a concert that she had done, and she's playing the flute and playing this beautiful music. And what she did was, she's like, if you want to just sit and knit with me and listen to me play. And all it was she was sitting and knitting, I was sitting and knitting, and in the background she was playing the flute. It was beautiful. And I saved that episode, and now she and I, we sit and we knit, and I listen. I love classical music. I love the flute. I love music of all kinds. But I sit and I just listen. And it's just, what a gift that was. What an absolute gift, a private concert that I could sit and knit to. So there you go. That's another one that I just wanted to pass on, because these people are important in my life. You know, they've become important in my life, aside from the fact that they kept me sane, but I've become friends with them. And that is truly another gift and another blessing. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Oh, alrighty. So a finished object. I have a finished object. And this finished object actually is a new pattern that I just designed and knit yesterday. And it'll come out eventually once I get it all written up and everything. But it's for somebody special in my life, and there's a story behind it that I don't think I'm actually even going to tell the story. I'm just going to tell you about the hat. Okay, simple hat, simple beanie, nothing elaborate except the little pattern here looks like little steps, because the it's going to be called Montana Steps, because there are steps, if you know what steps are, geographical, and out in Montana. And this hat I knitted to keep her warm when she goes to Montana. Let's put it that way. Okay, anyway, I made it out of Debbie Bliss, Rialto Aran, with held together with a strand of Lana Grossa Kids Silk Haze mohair. And haven't been a mohair person ever since that fiasco of my first sweater that I knit. when I was 12. So I didn't realize how lovely and soft and warm and luscious it can be. And it's opened up a whole other rabbit hole for me, because I'm going to do more of this. I'm definitely going to do more of this. It is so warm and so luscious. So there you go. So that is my finished object for yesterday. As far as, my works in progress, I am still working on the other sock to the other one that I made, that I showed you last time. I'm getting there. I'll be done with it tonight. I put it off because I had other things I wanted to do, and I did them. So I haven't finished, but this will be finished tonight. Okay, let me see. I don't think I'm going to talk about much else today, because just because I don't think I planned this out as well as I thought I did. But that's okay, because I am so learning about this. This has been such an experience of trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, and all this sort of stuff. And now I have to figure out how to edit this. That part has definitely been challenging. So I think I'm going to end here, just because I'm going to start rambling. And that's not a good place for me to be, particularly for you guys, if I start rambling. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, want to see more, please, again, like, subscribe, and then I'll be back again. I did have one thing I did want to let you know. I did have the Webs retreat last weekend, which I'll do a whole episode just on that. It was absolutely amazing. Wonderful teachers, presenters. It was like my brain, it started on Thursday night, didn't end till Sunday morning. My brain was like on fire, and I was exhausted, after my first 2-hour class. It was like my brain was like, because I was learning so much, but it was just wonderful. And to see and to meet designers from around the world who, you hear of, but it was wonderful. And so I'll do an episode, kind of talk about that. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys up to Webs. We're going to go on a little journey. We're going to go on a trip together. And because I might have to pick up a little yarn while I'm there. But aside from that, for those of you that don't live in the area, get to see what the hype is all about. All right, well, I guess that's about it for today, and I will see you next time.